It's ridiculous, and I feel like the conversation shouldn't be, oh, does J. Cole have a classic? The conversation should be, has he reached his ceiling, fam? Because I seriously think he's reached his ceiling. He's gone as far as he can go. J. Cole is never, ever going to give us a classic album, ever. Ever. Mark my words. Mark it right on the wall, fam. He will never give us a classic album, fam. This is as far as he can go, fam. As far. Because you've had 6 albums to show us what you can do, fam. You feel me? Some people did it in less. Kendrick did it in 1. You feel me? He did it in 1.
Yeah, he did. Probably even his mixtapes as well is phenomenal as well, man. Like.
Phenomenal. You get me? You can, and you can definitely make the argument for Drake that he's done it as well. Like even people say, does he have a classic or whatever? There's definitely an argument.
Yeah, I think there's argument, but I probably. But fair enough. But I was gonna add on to your point. Then I almost like forgot it.
He's definitely. What I was saying is that he's hit his ceiling, and I feel like.
Oh yes, sorry.
Go for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I remember listening to the warm up came up, and I remember loving it, and I thought that he was going to get better, and I think it was. After Born Sinner, when Born Sinner got released, I realized that what you're saying right now, that this is the best that he can get. Do you get me? Like he can't go anywhere beyond that.
Well, that was his second album, bro.
Yeah, that was his. Huh?
That's his second album. So you thought that after Born Sinner?
Yeah. After Born Sinner, I remember categorically because I remember listening to the warm up. I loved the warm up. Friday Night Lights. Okay, that wasn't bad. You know, I thought that was a good mixtape. And then when the album came out, I was very disappointed because essentially it was just J. Cole reaching for the charts. Do you get me? With all these high-end, he had more high-end producers, high-end futures, and that was the that was the trajectory they headed it in. And then Born Sinner was a change in more to becoming like an album artist that we sort of see now. And I just like from listening from up to the warm-up, and also went back to listen to the come up as well. So I kind of had a good sample size of J. Cole, and I came to the conclusion I feel like that this is the best that he can sort of operate in, and he can't go anywhere else. And I do agree with your point, but it's quite surprising because there's loads of artists, that have still broke that ceiling and created great work in it. So you might never know. J. Cole probably could do an album 12. Maybe
album 12,
Yeah, not at this point. No.
Not at this point at all. And I kind of feel like what we were talking about before there are a couple things that you must tick off to have a classic album. Sonically, lyrically, emotionally, mentally, there's all these things need to be a perfect combination, fam. Perfect combination. And J. Cole, maybe sometimes lyrically, he's been there. Like he's had God moments. Let's not step out and say he hasn't. He's
100% that moment,
100%. But in terms sonically, he's never ever had a God moment. And well, you man can say that for Neighbours, for example, and other things, he's had God moments. But for me, he hasn't. And emotionally, I've never ever connected to this man. I've never listened to him and been like, oh my God, I understand what you're saying. And being connected doesn't necessarily mean I need to come from the same lifestyle. Because Kendrick talks about shit that like none of us have ever experienced, but we feel it. You feel me? And J. Cole's never spat a bar where I've been like, my God, I want to cry, fam. One of his worst songs is Lost Ones. I remember I was listening to it, it was about him and his girlfriend got pregnant and he wanted her to have an abortion. And I remember listening to it when I was in the gym and I wanted to throw my iPod in the bin, fam. I've never heard something so rubbish in my life, bro. How can you talk about something so serious and make it sound so terrible? Oh my God. You can't. I implore everyone to listen to Lost Ones and tell me it's one of the worst tracks you've ever heard. Tell me it's not in it. Listen, J. Cole stands, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you guys.
You talk about general people.
General people. But like, obviously, with that being said, boys, like, I think there's always been this conversation of, there's always in hip hop, there's always, the Biggie, Tupac, the fucking Jay-Z, Nas. J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake. Does J. Cole stand next to these guys, or does he not touch that level?
I think it's Kendrick and then the rest. Anyways, I think it's Kendrick in terms of like the high end and who's selling, but then at the bottom, for people who are not high end, they're selling people like Sweatshirts and No Name, and like there's loads of other rappers that don't sell as much as him, but are technically as good or can be as good on their day. And
but we're talking about people who've got everything.
People who are selling just Kendrick Lamar. I don't put Drake in the category. I don't put J. Cole in the category.
You were selling, bro.
Yeah. Sorry?
You said you don't put what's it called? You put Kendrick in the selling sort of.
So yeah, I think he's.
Yeah, put Drake in that category, bro.
No, in terms of like making great music and
selling. You said selling.
No. So the criteria is basically this. I'm for my criteria is as artists that are selling and are creating great music. And in terms of hip hop, from what I know, from what I can remember right now, Kendrick is like the only one. Who else? So we got Tyler the Creator as well. We
can't put him there, fam. We can't put him there.
Look at why. He's got platinum now, though.
I'm a massive fan of him, fam. Massive fan of him, but we can't put him in the same category as J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake.
Because I think he's gone platinum and now above gold, so he's in that selling category now.
Once, fam.
Recently,
and that album was an incredible album, deserved the Grammy.
Yeah.
But talking about in terms of these artists who've been around for like the last decade. Who've been around for the last decade and who've been selling and who are meant to be like the best, basically.
Yeah, I can't like Kendrick is alone. I don't put Drake close to Kendrick. I don't put Jermaine Cole close to Kendrick. It's just Kendrick. The only one that can step up to Kendrick is those that I mentioned that don't sell as much as him. They can step up and fight Kendrick and probably put a good battle to it. But those two, they can't. Obviously, Drake can in terms of making hits and putting a club record. No one can touch Drake's when it comes to like club record or a record that a lifestyle moment record. You get me? But if we're talking about like album, music, thoughtful, emotional, all of that stuff, then it's just Kendrick. But funnily enough, J. Cole has elements and bits in about that, and that's what make a lot of people or some people or his fans to say that he is a great or he is in that category of the greats. You get me? So and you can see that in this album as well. Like there is like it's almost like a tick box of what makes a classic, if that makes any sense. You get me? And that's why for me it took such a long time to sort of grapple with my own sort of what I thought about the album and trying to make sure that I'm not saying it just because I need to be objective as possible. So yeah.
I just before I jump onto Henry, I just want to say, imagine a pool, yeah? A pool. Yeah. You know you've got the shallow end and the deep end, yeah?
Yeah.
Kendrick is in the deep end, fam.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Drake is somewhere in the middle where he can do it, but he doesn't give a fuck about it anymore. And then J. Cole is he's wearing water wings and he's barely putting his feet inside the fucking deep end.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do you think, fam?
I think in that order, bro, Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole. I think J. Cole's always been the third guy. You know what I mean? He's always been the third guy, even at his peak. Because when you think about it, I think the reason why people compare those three with each other is because they all started roughly at the same time. You know what I mean? And I do feel like when it comes to lyrically, no one's touching Kendrick in it. You know what I'm saying? But then when it comes to sales, no one's touching Drake. You know what I'm saying? No one's touching him. You know what I mean? Like he's the biggest, you know what I'm saying, artist in the world essentially. Drake is in in regards to like sales and if we're talking commercially, you know what I mean? Like what happened?
No, I feel like you're gonna say Drake is Michael Jackson.
No. I was gonna say Drake is in that Adele category.
Oh yeah.
And in terms of what's it called? In terms of sales, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that category, no one's touching Drake. But if you want to combine the two, I definitely feel like Kendrick is number one. Drake is just behind him, and then J. Cole is the man kind of on the side. You know what I'm saying?
On the sideline.
Yeah, like sideline story. Yeah. So I feel like it's always been that way. It's always been in that order. At no point in time did I feel like Drake was ever second or first. You know what I mean? He's never been that. You get it? But he's in that conversation though. Like you have to put him, hate him or love him. And not obviously Jay, you hate him. So like be hard for you to admit that. But yeah, like he's always been in that conversation. You know what I mean? Like you can't mention Drake and J. Cole, Drake and Kendrick without mentioning J. Cole. But in my opinion, he's not in their league. You know what I mean? In any category. You know what I'm saying?